Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought provoking conversations. After a long gap of 2 years, India Alliance leaders met in Delhi's Constitution Club today. 23 political parties participated in this meeting and they came around with a broad consensus. There you see the pictures, and the notable absentees, of course, were Aam Aadmi Party and the DMK, which was quite expected. Now, what are the points of consensus which were reached at this particular meeting? Five key points at this formal meeting. The first one, and let's put out that tweet, which is by the Congress itself. Yes, this is the first point. Now, these are the points on which a consensus has been evolved. The point number one is it was agreed to send a letter to the Chief Justice of India regarding vote chori and the stealing of elections. The letter will be delivered very soon. Point number two, it was unanimously agreed to demand the immediate resignation of the Education Minister. The union government should immediately call an all-party meeting to discuss the current precarious economic situation, unemployment, price rise, farmers' issues, atrocities, and other people-centric issues. It was agreed that all of us should meet every 2 months. The next meeting will be held in Hyderabad. Parliamentary coordination will continue during the monsoon session with daily morning meetings in the office of the Honorable Leader of the Opposition. And there was no press conference. Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge made a statement after which questions were not taken. Now, we will come to this bit. But before the meeting, there were hoardings put out on the streets of the Lutyens Bungalow zone. These are the hoardings which were put on the streets. In one image, you can see Mamta Banerjee saying what she said previously, that Congress is losing credibility. And there is a tagline at the bottom of the hoarding which says, India Alliance wale jo alag reh rahe hain, wo saath kaise aayenge? Which means that when India Alliance partners are all isolated, how can they come together? And very cleverly, these hoardings are carrying the versions of those leaders which they have said during the campaigns or in earlier times. Now, say, for example, Arvind Kejriwal's hoarding says, Galti, I don't know, I'm not able to read it properly, but yes, whatever he has said in earlier times, criticizing Rahul Gandhi, that has been put out on the hoarding. Similarly, you can see Sharad Pawar's statement saying that Rahul lacks consistency. And then the same tagline goes that how can the India Alliance leaders come together when there is no unity? That is what the bottom tagline says. But on this particular day, when India Alliance was holding its crucial meeting after 2 years, how did BJP think of puncturing this entire event? First, they put out the hoardings, and by late afternoon, everyone came to know that 28 MPs from Trinamool Congress, 20 MPs, yes, they have written a letter to Om Birla, the Speaker of Lok Sabha, that they will join the NDA. And apparently, what has also come out in the public domain is that this particular meeting was held at Union Minister Bhupendra Yadav's residence. So, which means it was a planned and a calibrated move to puncture the narrative of the India Alliance, especially on a day when India Alliance would have made headlines. At least they would have come out with a certain narrative. But what goes as headline is that 20 Trinamool Congress MPs cross over to NDA. So, of course, this is a big setback to Mamta Banerjee, but what does it mean for India Alliance? And the 5 points on which the consensus has been evolved, those pointers, what do they go to show? How was India Alliance really prepared for this meeting? There are many questions around that as well. So we'll try and discuss all of this. Joining me this evening is the associate editor of The Hindu, Sandeep Phukan, joins us. Thank you so much, Sandeep, for joining. It's a pleasure having you on the program. And the first question is that very cleverly BJP chose to puncture the narrative of India Alliance by putting out this story in the public domain. And it's quite visible now that the BJP's hand is quite visible that they are the ones to engineer this defection of the Trinamool Congress MPs. What does it go to show on a day when it comes, when India Alliance is holding its meeting?
Well, even the context of India Alliance is actually the decimation of the Trinamool Congress. Let's not forget that, one can blame the BJP for putting up these posters, though there is no name, there is no symbol. But one can still say that, was the BJP behind putting up these posters in Lutyens, Delhi, where the meeting was supposed to be held or was held? Uh, but fact still remains that all those comments that were put up uh, are a fact. I mean, they were said
Yes.
by whether it's Mamta Banerjee, Mr. Pawar, or Udaynidhi. All of them have made statements against the Congress in the run-up to elections. So it was not as if that it was a very coherent group. Of course, I mean, anti-BJP politics of anti-BJP brought these parties together, but they've had serious differences. In the Kerala polls, for example, Congress and the CPIM traded charges that they were with the BJP, you were hand in glove with the BJP. Then just in the run up to uh, this meeting of India Bloc, uh, M.A. Baby, the General Secretary of CPIM, he wrote a letter to Mr. Kharge saying that, it's one thing to make sharp speeches against a political party or rival political party, but quite another thing to actually call us agents of the BJP. And that's why he chose not to come. John Brittas, of course, attended on behalf of the CPIM. And the context of the meeting is that after the debacle that Trinamool faced and is continuing to face in terms of attrition. It is now alleged that even the opposition is in Bengal is handpicked by the ruling party. All those 60 MLAs who've gone along with Ritubrata Banerjee, of course, they deny that charge and they say that no, we've actually moved away because we could not get along with Abhishek Banerjee's style of functioning, and that's why we've formed this separate group, and BJP has nothing to do with it. But I think that could be only partially true. The fact that there was a lot of resentment against Abhishek Banerjee's style of functioning cannot be ruled out. I will certainly not rule out, having seen how the party has functioned over the years. But at the same time, of course, I mean, more the merrier for the BJP. So if MLAs come, if MPs come, it's good. In this backdrop, Mamta Banerjee wanted a platform where she can associate herself with, because Trinamool is no longer a political force on the ground at the moment. And of course, I must tell you, Neelu, that having covered Bengal elections earlier, whenever there is a regime change, this sort of flux happens, continues for months. This is not the first time. When, despite being so strong in Bengal, the left front, when they lost power in 2011, for months, their cadres were either in hiding or they were running away from their homes, staying away from their homes, fearing I mean, Bengal unfortunately has had a culture of political violence. Uh, the last assembly elections, it was the turn of the BJP workers who were running, staying away from their homes. Extreme forms of violence unleashed by the Trinamool, because they came back with a vengeance. After two terms, it was predicted that BJP is going to win, and Trinamool is on its way out. So when you know, they actually surprised themselves by getting
But Sandeep,
unprecedented.
the attrition you were talking about at the state level, it's understandable, and we've seen it in the past also happening. But the kind of attrition we are seeing in Lok Sabha, is that unprecedented? Because why? I mean, everybody is asking a question that if BJP has won with such a handsome majority in Bengal, what is the need to engineer this kind of a defection? What is the kind of message which BJP is trying to send out?
No, one, it's not unprecedented. Precedent is with Shiv Sena. So first, the split happened in Maharashtra. Eknath Shinde became despite having much lower numbers than the BJP, he became the chief minister for the remainder of that term of that government. And eventually, this the split happened in Lok Sabha as well. To answer your question, BJP has certain key political agenda. Delimitation bill is one of them. We recently saw that when all the parties were together, they failed to get that, the magic number of 366. So unless some of the existing political parties come and join them, they will never have the 366 figure of two-thirds majority to pass a constitutional bill. Two immediate bills that I can think of. In the women's reservation bill, no political party will actually ever oppose. If they want to implement it immediately from the next, election, nobody will ever oppose that. There is across party there is a consensus. What other parties were opposed to is delimitation. So now, if they will have to also change, though delimitation in itself can be just a simple, statutory law. It need not be a constitutional amendment bill, but constitution still has to be amended, Article 81 and 82, because these two articles deal with the freezing of the, seats on the basis of 1971 census. So you will anyways have to, even if to extend, you want to extend the freeze, even then you will have to, because the cutoff year was 2026. So you will have to amend the constitution. So for constitutional amendment, but the bigger goal, I would say, is the one nation, one poll, the simultaneous elections. So it helps the BJP to keep adding up numbers. If you recall, in the bill that got defeated on the floor of the House, the NDA had numbers of 298. So now you add. First of all, we don't know whether 20 MPs have defected to or have formed a separate party. The number 20 has come because to be identified as a separate group from Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool, two-thirds under the 10th schedule of anti-defection law, two-thirds, if a party, two-thirds of a party splits, then it can well be recognized as a separate legislature party. So for that two-third number out of 28 MPs, the rebel group needs 19, 1-9. Okay, so they have given out a figure of one more, 20. But it has been contested by Kalyan Banerjee. I believe he has also written a letter to the Lok Sabha Speaker saying that there is no basis. So far from colleagues, what we have heard is that 10 MPs have been physically present. 10, 1-0. 10 MPs have been physically present earlier at Bhupendra Yadav's house, Union Minister Bhupendra Yadav's house, and now as we speak, at Shatabdi Roy's house, who was at one point considered to be so close to Mamata Banerjee. So, Shatabdi Roy. So now there is a contestation on the number, but let us assume it's 20. So 298 plus 20 is 318. You're still short of 366. Then you take away 22 from DMK. 20 odd, I think it's 22, but I'll have to I don't remember offhand whether it is 22 or 21. But 20 odd MPs you take away from that, so that threshold comes down again. So from 366, if they even abstain, if they don't wish to be with India Bloc or with the Congress, you bring down the number by another 20 seats. So to that extent, the number comes down again. So it is all, the government of the day is working towards a situation where they can actually arrange.
So Sandeep, that these defections do have a very well calibrated plan, like what you are explaining, to get a two-thirds majority to pass any constitutional or constitution bill. This is why these defections are being engineered until the time they reach that comfortable mark. I believe that these defections will continue.
Well, depending on which party you're looking at, so far the Congress has held on to its own. The irony is that when the BJP started in 2013, 2014, actually in January 2014, for the first time, the party had come up with this narrative of Congress Mukt Bharat. And it seemed as if it had achieved that goal because Congress came down to 44, then 52, but now it's back to about 98, 99. I think with a few resignations, it's I think 98 right now. So, but even then, Congress still continues to be in that range. But if you look at other regional parties, they've actually fared quite poorly. Whether it is BRS or Telangana Rashtra Samiti, and now it's called Bharat Rashtra Samiti, the DMK, the Shiv Sena has seen a split. Akalis have been decimated. So it's friends and foes alike have actually regional parties, friends and foes alike, have had a very difficult relationship with the BJP, and uh, you would have to say that uh, whenever you have a very strong national party, this kind of thing happens. So during Indira Gandhi's time, if you recall, political scientist Rajni Kothari had come up with a
Yes.
term called the Congress system. So to describe the one party's dominance over the political landscape of the country. So actually, it's now the BJP system that has replaced the Congress system. So these some would defect for the fear of punishment or raids, or people who have to fear. But mind you, not all of them will defect because of that.
Yeah.
Many of them will actually go simply because they may be they may be out of power for far too long. We've seen so many of these Congress people, young people, who are seen as who are seen, and it's a genuine fear they have, because these are all career politicians. They don't have a parallel career.
Right.
So in their 40s, they don't know how long it'll take for the Congress to come back or the opposition to come back. So might as well join the BJP and contest an election, win, and make a political career. So some find that to be a more expedient route than to
True.
fight it out.
I want to come to the India Alliance meeting now, Sandeep. Uh, I mean, was it very loosely organized? Because many people feel that the agenda could have been more solid, more concrete in terms of whatever they conveyed, according to the five pointers which came out. That the consensus was evolved on this, and most of them are repetitive points, barring of course 2 points where they said that all the parties jointly will write a letter to the CGI, and the second bit was that they're going to meet every 2 months. That was something which was new. But apart
Yeah.
from that, in terms of agenda, in terms of the issues they had picked on, uh, everybody was expecting that something more concrete or some sort of a thing they could have announced that they will be doing in the next few days, given the fact that so many issues are around, are boiling at this point of time: the OSM scam, the neat paper leak, oil and gas prices, inflation, all of this is there. But
Those
it's
things are there. Yeah.
sorry, just go. Yeah,
Yeah. No, so those things have been mentioned. Yes, I agree with you. One would have expected that you actually prepare a roadmap. This is how, it's no good to be saying vote chori. How do I
yes,
tackle with vote chori? See,
yeah,
either you don't contest elections, or there's no point in belittling or deriding a system where you are also a participant. And if you're a participant, what are you doing to protect yourself uh, to the best of your ability? So, yes, I agree with you that to some extent it would have been better if the opposition had come up with a roadmap saying that in the next 2 3 months, this is how we are going to. Though they have said that they will write a letter to the CJI. After that, what? CJI is a constitutional functionary. Beyond that, you can also submit the same letter to the President of India. But beyond that, a political party has to also mobilize politically, it has to mobilize people if you want to put across your point of view and put pressure on the government. In terms of timing of the meeting, Neelu, as I had just explained, that this was actually a meeting asked for by Mamta Banerjee. She wanted to be associated with part of a bigger platform. the good thing that has come out of it is that they are at least trying to hold on to an institutional framework where different parties can come together and take on the government on issues of public interest. Uh, and these are issues like price rise, the needs, the OSM mess. I mean, it's affecting 18.5 lakh students. I mean, we are all parents of teenagers and around the same age group when our children are going through boards. It's a nightmare for any child, for any family. so. So these are all issues that people identify with, but I think the opposition will have to do a little more in terms of coming up with concrete solutions, or I mean programs, not solutions, but concrete programs, as to tell the people that this is how we are going to tackle, and this is how citizens who are affected by these issues can come and join us. So, at the end of the day, politics is not about political parties. Politics is about people and
No, but
representing their aspirations.
in even in the past, there have been open contradictions within the India alliance. Now, can the parties who are together, the 23 political parties whom we saw, can they really overcome those contradictions? Because if those contradictions are not overcome, then each time BJP will get a chance to come back at India alliance. That look, they can't stay together. Now, was there anything discussed on that bit? How
Yes,
do they
yes,
stay together?
yes. There was, there was. In fact, I'm told that Rahul Gandhi spoke for about 15 minutes, and as per my information, he made all these points. He actually raised this issue that when I took up the issue of vote chori, other parties didn't come around, and it's a fact. Nobody really endorsed. So it's only when parties have lost out in terms of SIR or in terms of changes to electoral rolls, then they have associated. Now they have associated themselves uh, with that vote chori campaign. So he mentioned the vote chori campaign. He mentioned that how many of the parties have been constantly targeting in public the Congress party. Uh, I presumably it was a sort of jibe at the RJD, uh,
Yes.
that have often questioned the Congress's poor strike rate in in Bihar. So essentially, what the message that Rahul Gandhi tried to convey, I'm told, is that look, if you want to take on the BJP, it's not as if that the BJP cannot be defeated. I'm told that he cited the 2024 election results, that how it had come down to 240 and the opposition parties had worked well together. So he said, but if you do not work well together, then you always run the risk of, uh, I mean, then you cannot take the BJP on, because at the end of the day, there is a certain amount of cohesiveness and organizational might to any ruling party. Actually, see, until the day you get defeated, any ruling party looks invincible from the outside. Who would have thought that Trinamool will face this kind of a unraveling
Yeah.
until it did? So essentially, I think that is what he has said. So he did say that some. I mean, I don't know whether he took names. At least my source did not reveal that, but he did say that political parties have been have been working at cross purposes. They have been calling out each other rather than working together. I mentioned about the vote chori campaign, how he said that he felt that it was only the Congress and he alone that had raised this issue, not enough support from the other alliance partners. So he has raised all these issues in the meeting, and I think one of the outcomes is that every 2 months, these parties will meet. But of course, there was tension underlying even in this meeting, because the DMK did not come, the RJD, as I said.
possibility of DMK? Because DMK has been always emphasizing that they are against the BJP's policies. So, is there a possibility that at some point of time DMK may join back the India Alliance?
Well, there is obviously there is possible. I mean, there are always possibilities in politics. There is also a possibility that they may join the NDA. They have actually worked with the NDA earlier.
They have.
They have been part of the Vajpayee government. It's only in since 2004 that the DMK had been together with the Congress and never parted ways. However, in 2019 they contested the Lok Sabha elections alone. So people forget that so it's just that uh, I think the manner in which the Congress and the DMK parted ways has been acrimonious and bitter, and they felt hurt, and which is why they have even asked for separate seating, which has been granted now in the Lok Sabha. So they will not really be sitting with the Congress, because right now DMK members used to sit just behind the Congress, in the Lok Sabha. So they were seated together. So now they will move to the middle row, perhaps, where non-party, I mean, parties which are not part of NDA, or parties like the YSRCP, or in these parties who are not part of the NDA and not part of the India bloc. That's where they would like to place themselves right now. I believe it's been already granted by the Lok Sabha Speaker. So, but yes, there is always a possibility. I mean, if both leadership of both the parties make an effort, and Gandhi's reach out to Stalin, or Mr. Stalin, makes a courtesy call on the Gandhis. The politics is always about possibilities. These things can work out.
But was there also a mention of as to how India Alliance would go about their regular meetings, if at all they are saying that they will meet every 2 months? You remember in 2024 there was a big talk about setting up an India Alliance secretariat, a separate logo, and all of that was discussed, but that didn't happen at all. Now, how
It did not.
serious? Yes. So, how serious
Yes.
are they on those issues of formulating a structure regarding the India Alliance? Of course, the institution is there, parties have come back together, but what about the wherewithal? How do they function? How do they operate?
Yeah, I think, frankly, Neelu, one shouldn't get too bogged down about these secretariat and committees. I recall very well that they had talked about a secretariat, that how there will be a joint communication committee and manifesto committee, and none of this actually worked out. It's difficult because these are different political parties, where each party will have a different stand on some critical, crucial issues, political issues, and it becomes difficult. Just for example, Omar Abdullah is part of the India bloc. He has a point of view on Article 370, and Mamta Banerjee's had a point of view on Article 370. Congress also has a different point of view on, or maybe similar to Omar, but may not be exactly identical. Sharad Pawar's NCP and Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena have absolutely, their views are identical to the BJP's view. So it's not possible to have these joint communication, which is why you saw all those fine 5 points on which Congress president himself said that there was a consensus, which means that there are many areas on which there was no consensus, and it will continue like that. I think that what they have resolved to do is that every 2 months they would meet, they would assess the political situation in the country, and accordingly they will devise a plan. uh, but I would still say that it would have been better that on issues which are already there, price rise, fuel, fuel prices going up, or scarcity, the prime minister's appeal to reduce less or use less of, fuel as well as fertilizers. How is that going to impact agriculture? On all these issues, they can have a roadmap that this is how we plan to. And the biggest issue right now is, of course, the issue of students and how they are being affected. So it would have been better instead of saying that we will meet 2 months. 2 months from now, these some of these issues will no longer be relevant.
Absolutely. So, which is why I was just wanting to come to that question, that have they planned anything maybe in the next week or 10 days, given the fact that the CBSE and the examination mess is so much current right now. So, shouldn't have they planned something immediately? Maybe going to the president or whatever. I mean, they have their own options of exploring various things they can, but they should have announced, I guess, something maybe in the coming week what they could have planned.
Well, I think they've left it at. I mean, that was the second point in the joint communique that they have issued. They have left it at the demand for resignation of Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, the education minister. But I think, yes, I agree with you that, uh, look, I mean, if Cockroach Janata Party, which started off as a social media sort of trend and then eventually it culminated into a party. I, of course, have my own theories, but I shall refrain from taking names. But I find the template identical to what one saw in India against corruption
Yeah,
and the parties and the strategists behind them. So, but whatever it be, the fact still remains that uh, many students perhaps felt that this is a novel idea, and some people would have gone out of curiosity, but people have actually gone seeking redressal, or looking at it as a platform. If that's the case, why should they not actually look at traditional mainstream legacy parties
absolutely,
as
absolutely,
as platforms where they can seek redressal? These are parties who've had experience in in running governments for decades. They may have better solutions also.
yeah,
At the end of the day, the governance has to be an interactive process. It's not a top-down approach. So,
absolutely.
yeah. So, I mean,
In
that's what
fact,
I feel. And I
yeah,
agree with you that they should have seized this moment, if at all they wanted to put. I mean, I certainly I'm not one who believes that हमने ट्वीट कर दिया प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कर दिया. It doesn't work that way.
it doesn't work.
Politics has changed. In
Absolutely,
fact, I still believe that BJP, in the role of the opposition, uh, was, of course, I mean, we can get into another debate that the role of the media at that time was different, the use of agencies was different, etc. But nonetheless, BJP was an extremely aggressive opposition compared
absolutely.
vis-a-vis to the opposition that we have.
Absolutely. No, there is no two ways about the fact that India alliance has to make itself look like a more credible force. Otherwise, people will keep discussing as to what is their roadmap. They just come together when elections are around the corner, like what BJP always says. So, well, we'll have to end it here. The next India alliance meeting is supposed to be sometimes in August. Let's see what they do before that. All eyes would be on that. Thank you so much, Sandeep, for joining on HW. Thank you.
Thank you, Neelu.